When you look at all the information out there on money, the complex spreadsheets, the crazy stock charts, all the jargon, it really can feel like personal finance is, I don't know, designed to be overwhelming.
It absolutely can.
But you, our learner, you came to us with this massive stack of research. It covers everything from money psychology and getting out of debt to the high-stakes game of salary negotiation.
And that stack really holds the key. Our mission today is to cut through all of that noise and connect the why your mindset about money with the practical how.
The actual strategies.
The strategies that build real financial security. Because the core insight here, really, is that personal finance is great. It's much more about psychology than it is about math.
Exactly. So we're going to distill all this down into the most actionable nuggets. Let's start at the deepest level, that invisible force that's guiding every single dollar you spend.
Well, the research is really clear on this. It's the power of what they call money scripts.
Money scripts.
Think of them as these unconscious beliefs and emotional patterns about money that got programmed into you as a kid. Maybe you always heard, we can't afford that.
Or you saw your parents arguing about bills all the time.
Exactly. And those scripts are still running in the background today, influencing every financial choice you make without you even realizing it.
And these scripts often show up as one of four sort of money personalities.
Right.
And they can sabotage you, even if you have the best intentions.
That's right. The first one we see is the money avoider. This is someone who feels genuine discomfort, maybe even disgust, when they have to deal with money or wealth.
So they might,
Yeah.
but undercharge for their work.
They undercharge, they avoid asking for a raise, they might even turn down a promotion. It's like they believe focusing on money is somehow, not a good thing.
Okay, then there's the opposite, a money worshiper.
Mm-hmm. This person believes that more money is the cure for everything. It'll solve all their problems, fix their relationships, bring them happiness.
But the irony, as the sources point out, is that they never feel secure.
They never do. They'll sacrifice their health, their family, but it's never enough to actually make them feel safe.
Okay, number 3 is the money status seeker.
Right. For them, it's all external. They use money to buy respect, to build an identity. It's all about keeping up appearances.
The fancy car, the designer clothes.
Exactly. But it's not about the function of the item. It's about what other people will think. And that often drives them deep into debt just to maintain that image.
And the last one, which feels like could be the trickiest, is the money vigilant.
It is, because on the surface, it sounds great. They're careful, they're responsible, they track every dollar.
Which seems ideal.
But the shadow side is this intense financial anxiety. They might deny themselves any reasonable pleasure or fun, or they're too afraid of losing money to ever invest. They're always looking at money with suspicion.
And these scripts are basically why we fall into what the research calls the emotional spending trap.
That's the connection. Impulse buys are almost never about logic. They're driven by an emotion. You're bored, you're stressed, you feel inadequate, and you're just looking for that quick hit.
But then you just end up with financial stress and guilt on top of the bad feeling you were trying to escape.
Precisely. Which brings us to this core idea of an identity shift.
Okay, so it's not about setting goals.
It's less about the goal like, I need to save $5,000, and more about who you're becoming. You start thinking, I am someone who saves intentionally.
I'm someone who values long-term security.
Right, and every time you choose to save, even if it's just $5, you're casting a vote for that new identity.
And that new identity needs a foundation, a financial shield.
The emergency fund.
Yeah. And the sources point out this staggering statistic. I mean, it's a huge vulnerability. Surveys show that nearly 40% of people couldn't cover a $400 emergency.
40%?
Yeah.
It's a shocking number.
Without borrowing money or selling something. So this emergency fund isn't a luxury. It's what stops a flat tire from turning into a complete financial disaster.
So, okay, how do you build one? What's the target? The goal is 3 to 6 months of essential living expenses.
And that's a key distinction. Essential expenses, not your total income.
Right. You calculate the bare minimum you need. Your rent or mortgage, utilities, basic food, minimum debt payments. That's it.
But that 6-month figure can feel really overwhelming for someone just starting out.
It can. So the research suggests a really critical first step. Start with a starter emergency fund of $1,000 to $2,000.
Just to get going.
Exactly. That amount alone covers the vast majority of those small, annoying emergencies and keeps you from reaching for a credit card.
And where should you keep this money?
The priorities are simple: liquidity and safety, It has to be in a high-yield savings account at an FDIC-insured bank.
So you know it's safe and you can get it immediately.
Yes, you're trading huge returns for absolute peace of mind. The money has to be accessible, and there can be zero risk of losing the principal.
So I have to ask, is it ever okay to invest it to try and get a better return?
Absolutely not. The warning in the sources is very, very stark. This money should not be in the stock market.
Never.
Its purpose is to be there for you when the market is crashing and your car breaks down. You need that stability, period.
And I noticed the sources also said the amount can change depending on your job.
It does. If you're self-employed or your income is really irregular, you should probably aim for more like 9 to 12 months of expenses.
And homeowners too, right?
Homeowners, for sure. They have to be ready for those big, sudden repairs that renters don't. A new furnace, a leaky roof. That can be thousands of dollars overnight.
Okay, so once that identity is shifting and the starter emergency fund is in place, then we can shift focus to clearing the path.
Getting rid of high-interest debt.
Right, and the first step is, well, it's often the hardest. You have to create a debt inventory, your battle map.
You have to face it. You list out every single debt, the amount, the interest rate, the minimum payment. You can't win a battle if you don't even know what you're fighting.
So once you have that map, the research points to two main strategies for attacking that debt, which is usually anything over, what, 8 or 10% APR?
That's the general rule of thumb, yes.
Yeah.
High-interest debt.
So on one side, you have the famous debt snowball.
The snowball. This method basically ignores the math. You list your debts from the smallest balance to the largest, and you throw all your extra money at the smallest one first.
You get a quick win.
It's all about psychological momentum. You pay one off, get that boost, and then you take that entire payment amount and snowball it onto the next smallest debt.
Okay, and on the other side?
You have the debt avalanche. This one is purely mathematical. You list debts from the highest interest rate to the lowest, and you attack the highest rate first.
And this one saves you the most money on interest.
Over the long run, yes. It's the most financially efficient way to do it.
So wait, if the avalanche is mathematically better, why would anyone ever choose the snowball?
Because the best plan is the one you can actually stick with.
Ah,
The avalanche can be a real grind, especially if your highest interest debt is also your biggest one. You could be paying for months or even years without feeling like you're making progress. The snowball gives you those quick wins that keep you motivated.
so you choose based on your personality. If you're a spreadsheet person, go avalanche.
And if you need that encouragement to keep going, the snowball is probably for you.
And this requires both offense and defense. Defensively, you cut expenses, and the sources say to focus on the big three.
Housing, transportation, and food. They make up 60 to 70% of most people's budgets. That's where you'll find the biggest savings.
But the offense is where the real power is.
Right, increasing your income. Side hustles, freelancing, selling stuff you don't use. There's a hard limit on how much you can cut, but there's really no limit on how much you can earn.
Okay, before we move on, there's a really critical tip in here about credit cards. When you finally pay one off, the sources say you should not close the account.
This is so important. It seems counterintuitive that it's about your credit score.
Right.
If you close the account, you reduce your total available credit. That actually increases your credit utilization ratio, how much you owe, versus how much credit you have.
And a higher ratio can hurt your score, even if you have less debt.
Exactly. So keep the account open, just put the card away somewhere safe. Let that zero balance work for you.
Okay, so the shield is up, the debt is shrinking. Now the goal shifts from defense to offense, to maximizing your earning potential.
The art of salary negotiation.
And this section is so powerful because it really connects back to self-worth. There's this one headline statistic that just jumps off the page.
It's incredible. The research shows that negotiating your very first salary can lead to earning over $500,000 more throughout your career.
$500,000
Yeah.
from one conversation,
It sets the anchor for your entire financial life.
which really solidifies the golden rule here.
Hmm.
The first offer is almost never the best offer.
Never. Companies expect you to negotiate. They have a range budgeted for the role. If you don't ask, you are just leaving your own money on the table.
And timing is everything.
Everything. You negotiate after you get a formal written offer, but before you officially accept it. That's your moment of maximum leverage. They've already decided they want you.
What about when they try to make you name a number first? How do you handle that?
You use the power of anchoring. You provide a range, but you make sure your actual target salary is at the very bottom of that range.
So if you want 110, you ask for something like 110 to 125.
Exactly. It anchors the whole conversation at a higher starting point.
And when you make your counteroffer, it's all about how you frame it.
You start with gratitude, you show enthusiasm for the job, and then you professionally state your case. You frame it as a discussion about fair market value.
And you have to back it up with a rationale.
A clear rationale is crucial. Don't just say, I want more. You need market research on what the role pays, and you need to quantify your own accomplishments. Not, I'm a hard worker, but I increased sales by 35%.
Attach the number you're asking for to the value you deliver.
Always.
And what if they say the base salary is locked in, that there's no flexibility?
You don't give up. You pivot immediately to the non-salary components. These are often way easier for a manager to get approved.
Things like a signing bonus.
A signing bonus, extra vacation days, funding for professional development, even an earlier performance review with a guaranteed raise if you hit certain targets.
All things with real-world value.
Massive value. And then the final step is to put that counteroffer in writing, in an email, so there's a clear record. And remember, you never, ever apologize for asking for what you're worth.
That confidence is expected.
It is. So if we look back at this whole journey, we went from the internal mindset to securing the foundation with the emergency fund, to clearing the biggest obstacle, the debt, and finally maximizing what you can earn through negotiation.
And taken together, these steps do more than just build wealth.
They build real financial resilience.
And that resilience, that preparation, it gives you the ultimate psychological reward, which is peace of mind. A sense of control. It's not about perfection. It's about those small, consistent actions that vote for the person you're becoming.
Well said.
So to leave you with a final thought this week, one that builds on everything we've talked about, the key to financial success isn't just focusing on your net worth, but on your self-worth. Because the sources show again and again, if you don't believe you deserve wealth, you will find a way to unconsciously sabotage yourself every time you start building it. So ask yourself this week, where are my actions aligning with the financial ceiling that I set for myself a long, long time ago?